Aaron Anselmino says yes to Chelsea Football Club as we are set to sign one of Argentina's next great defensive hopes. Today, my friends, we have tons of massive reports to get through, so I can't waste any more time with the intro. Of course, show some love as you always do, hit that like button, share your thoughts and opinions as well too, and share the video if you like it as well. So my friends, let's not waste time and let's get straight into things. Let's get the Isak update out of the way first, and surprising absolutely no one, of course, we won't be making any move to sign Isak this summer. This was confirmed by Matt Law and other big journalists late last night, but the key word being this summer. Now obviously it makes sense, we don't have Champions League football, we can't afford to break yet again another British transfer records when we just broke that record consecutively for Enzo Fernandez and for Moises Caicedo, so that isn't going to happen. As we knew, Newcastle weren't in a position where they were forced to sell a big name player, but for us it does not hurt for us to make an inquiry to explore the possibility. But most importantly, we're putting in the tiniest, smallest groundworks for a potential future move in future seasons, right? Because Isak now knows that we like him and we are interested, hence why this news was made public. That is the big scheme behind this story. So my friends, we see what happens in 12 months time, because let's get things correct. If we do what we're supposed to do and get Champions League football at the end of next season, this most likely means that Newcastle won't be getting European football again. So their top stars like Bruno Guimaraes, Alexander Isak, they will start to question their futures if they feel like Newcastle can't meet their sporting ambitions. So, you know, of course, nothing's happening this summer, but let's see what happens in the future. Of course, we wait to see if Isak does agree to signing a contract extension. Could it be that maybe if he does agree to it, not only will he earn more money, but maybe there could be a release clause inserted? Who knows? Ideally, I hope that he doesn't sign any contract extension because his contract expires in 2028, so there's plenty of years on the table left. But the reality is, if we secure Champions League football, the ambition in the market comes back. This is what has kept us this summer, so this season, Maresca, please get us Champions League football. So that's the Isak updates out the way. Now we move on to discussing this afternoon's breaking news surrounding Aaron Anselmino, the 19-year-old centre-back who currently plays for Boca Juniors. Now, it seems like we have got this deal done. We have got the important okay and yes from Aaron Anselmino. Now, we've learned that we've reached a principle of agreement over this deal, but there are still other negotiations that need to take place. These do not include contracts because Anselmino has agreed to the contract offer and he is set to sign a 6-year deal. But the negotiations center around whether Anselmino will go to Strasbourg on loan for the first year. Now, of course, previous reports suggested that he goes straight into our first team. I guess it didn't really make as much sense, and it seems like Anselmino is more than happy to go to Strasbourg for a year. However, Boca Juniors are hoping that maybe he could remain with them for another year and join us then in 2025. But on our hands, that just won't work for us at all, and there's no way that Boca Juniors will say no to this deal. Now, in terms of the fee we've agreed upon, it seems like we've agreed a fee just under the release clause, which was $25 million to sign Anselmino. It seems like we've agreed a $17 million fixed fee plus additional add-ons on top to complete this move. And this comes courtesy of The Athletic, so I'm going to believe them when it comes to getting the important information right. Now, we were learning that AC Milan had expressed some late desire to try and sign Anselmino, so getting the important yes from the player speaks volumes. Getting the important yes that he is down to go to Strasbourg helps, of course, build and grow a multi-network model, and I'd imagine that he'd say yes because we're currently trying to build Chelsea Club de Football. Obviously, stars like Enzo Caicedo, they'll be joined by Kendrick Paez, Esteval Willian, but really growing the South American contingency in the club right now. And Anselmino thinks to himself, listen, I trust my talent, I know what I can become. In the future, when certain positions open up, who knows hypothetically if the Sassy goes, maybe Badiashile decides, you know what, I don't want to compete for minutes anymore, I want to be a star elsewhere to boost my national team hopes. Many things could happen in the future, which creates a pathway for Anselmino to come straight into our first team, and for him to get European experience first, playing week in, week out, hopefully at Strasbourg, is going to be a good thing. And I'm really excited to see Sila, like the very talented Ivorian left-footed centre-back at Strasbourg, and Anselmino creating like a strong partnership together. Now that's not the only news surrounding Blueco making signings, because it was announced late last night by a Colombian journalist that we've agreed to sign the very exciting, talented left winger in Oscar Perea. Now he's a left-footed, explosive winger that has very good close control. He has very good upper body strength, he seems very physically developed, and we've agreed to sign him for $5.5 million. He currently plays for Atlético Nacional, and he has a big reputation back home in Colombia. So this is another significant purchase for Blueco, as we are looking to use our expertise in the South American market to scour the best possible talents in that region. And in a sense, it reminds me of what we used to traditionally see clubs from Portugal do. Clubs like Porto, Benfica, Lisbon, etc, etc. They would sign these South American talents, of course, and then flip them for big money once they developed and got older. It seems like we don't want any middlemen. We'd rather create this network model ourselves by using Strasbourg, and hopefully, fingers crossed, we secure another club for this model. Now, do I necessarily agree with this direction in football? Absolutely not. But if this model needs to grow and get some legs, we do need another club under our network. Most importantly, maybe one in Portugal. That would be ideal. Or better yet, one in South America, which would allow us to create easier pathways, maybe to attract the best South American talent before moving them to Europe, before potentially moving them to our football club. So I could see that conveyor belt working. Let's say, for example, there was this super talented kid from Bolivia. He gets a move to a club that we own, potentially in Brazil or Argentina. He performs well. He then gets a move to Strasbourg, getting his first taste of European football. And after that, he either gets sold to a European club or he comes to our first team. So I think that's what we're looking to do right now. And being able to attract some serious talents to say yes to this model does give it some groundwork and some legs. And you think to yourself in the future, Esteval Willian, Kendry Paez, Andre Santos, and now Aaron Anselmino. I would say pretty confidently, these are 4 players that definitely have world-class potential. And it could be a very exciting future ahead. Fingers crossed if this model works and comes to life, because if it does, there could be something special on the horizon. So my friends, that's the Anselmino news out the way. But don't go nowhere, because yet again, we have some massive reports, this time involving Murillo, the 21-year-old Brazilian centre-back playing for Nottingham Forest. Now this guy adapted so seamlessly and easily to life in the Premier League, and he was rightfully Nottingham Forest's best player last season, because this guy is a real football player. But before I discuss him, let's discuss the latest updates, because as we learned from, really big outlets in the UK, The Guardian, The Telegraph, etc, etc, we have made inquiries to Nottingham Forest in regards to finding out the availability of Murillo. Now we're learning that Nottingham Forest want around maybe £60 million to £70 million. That figure is not yet that concrete, but after how successful he was, especially when they signed him for I think 15 million euros, they're gonna want serious money to release their best player. And I say this pretty confidently, that Murillo is Nottingham Forest's best player. Then I'd say Hudson-Odoi actually comes second in terms of importance for the team. At the moment, we've explored the possibilities of maybe allowing players to be exchanged in the deal, and that has been a common factor we've seen involving clubs that must still yet oblige with PSR rules. But in the meantime, Nottingham Forest are very confident that they're set to meet this before the deadline of 30th June, because they've agreed to sell Mangala, the Belgian international, for 20 million to Lyon, and they've recently agreed a deal to sell their centre-back Nikita for around £20 million. So that's at least 40 million brought in, plus other sales still yet to go through. So they're completely fine when it comes to meeting PSI expectations. So if we want Murillo, we'll have to find an incredible deal to make this happen. I'd imagine the player would be more than inclined to sign for us, but what we find really difficult though is players on our side wanting to go to Nottingham Forest, because why would you feel confident and why would you take that step down in your career right now? It doesn't really make sense. But in the meantime, as we know, courtesy of Romano and other journalists, we are currently in the market to sign a left-footed centre-back, but one in particular that can play the hybrid left-back / centre-back role. Now, you think, Nini, don't we have Badia Shaw, Levi Cole, Ben Chilwell and Mark Cucurella? Ben's on like 200,000 a week. Cucurella's on like 175,000 a week. We've given a big contract to Levi Cole. He is an indispensable player in the club right now. And Badiashile has big potential and impresses everyone behind the scenes in training on a weekly basis. Are we not stacked in this position? Well, we've learned throughout the summer that we could be open to Cucurella offers. That doesn't mean we want to sell Cucurella. It means that we could be open to offers if an attractive offer came in. And I'd say that Cucurella is now finally finding his best form in his recent career at the moment. It's been a long time. He ended the season very strong for us, and currently at the Euros, he is having a sensational Euros. You could safely argue that Cucurella is the best fullback in the group stages right now, and one of the best defenders in the competition at the moment. But if someone wants him, they must come in with a very attractive offer. Who knows what's going to happen? But the fact that we are in the market to sign this type of player does mean that we are open to selling someone, and would have to mean that one of the players that we have already would be going out the door. Anyway, is Murillo the player we need? I have to say this guy is a sensational football player. He ended the season even stronger for Nottingham Forest. And when I see him, and when I see these types of players now that big clubs want in the fullback areas, guys that can kind of play as like left backs, centre backs, wing backs, left DMs, they're essentially midfield players in my opinion, because they're that good, they're that comfortable at carrying the ball out from deep, progressing the ball from those areas. They dominate their zones down that side. And Murillo, this guy is one of the best press resistant defenders in the league already. He's in the 98th percentiles for take-ons. That tells you everything you need to know. I mean, look at that run he went on against Crystal Palace where he nearly scored. That is what he regularly does at least once or twice per game for Nottingham Forest. So he would really fit that inverted style role that we want to introduce into our team right now, because not only is this guy phenomenal on the ball, an incredible passer over short, medium and long distances, skillful, he's a powerhouse. This guy's a brick house. He's very strong in his 1v1 duels. He can defend wide, but his main weakness is he is not good aerially because he's not the tallest defender. Now, as time goes on, as he improves, you learn how to master how to use your body to just like put off the balance of your opposition player. That's what you do. And one of the best I saw at doing that was Ashley Cole, another guy who was pretty small, but just knew how to just constantly make these saves at the far post with his head. But listen, Marino's got some great potential, great talent, especially on the ball, and he would make a lot of sense here considering this is the direction we hope to go down. But for this price, it's incredible money. I'd imagine we'd explore things as the window goes on. But if you ask me if I could sign one player in that position, it would be Calafiori as my number one option, because he would cost less money. And you'd imagine that if we could involve Casade plus money in that deal with Bologna, something could happen here, because even though Calafiori has said yes to Juventus, they can't afford his €50 million valuation now. So this gives us a massive opening to see if something happens here, yeah? But in the meantime, Murillo would be my number two option for this tactical role, because this guy has great talent and is phenomenal on the ball. So that is the Murillo news out the way, and we end things with a quick story involving Romelu Lukaku, because as this window continues to get near its end, we still have no idea what the future holds for Romelu, but we are just learning over the past 24 hours that AC Milan have made contact with Lukaku and his lawyer, and Lukaku has given AC Milan the yes of an interest in potentially moving to them this summer. So this is big news here. But in the meantime, let's come back to reality, because they did come in with an initial loan approach, and we've made it clear, no more loans for Lukaku. He is only leaving on a permanent deal, but we have not received any offers right now. Now, in my opinion, we are most likely to receive that money from Saudi Arabia. Could this news of AC Milan's intent now maybe force other clubs to start stepping in to make something happen? I'd imagine that Lukaku news will intensify once the Euros is over and once he's left the Belgian national team squad. There's another reality we have to accept. Serie A clubs will continue for loans, and they'll look to use Lukaku against us in the sense that as we get to August, as we get closer to the end of the window, and if no offers come in, we'll be forced to have to drop the asking price we want for Lukaku, which is currently £37 million. Now, because this guy is on incredible wages, he is the highest earning player in our club's history, earning over $350,000 a week. It's incredible money. That tells me that maybe could we potentially accept offers between 25 to 30 million, knowing that we have to get him off our wage bill. I feel like most Italian clubs will look to maybe come in later on when the window comes near its end to try and sign him for a reduced fee. And if that's the case, I think we might have to bite the bullet and make it work, yeah? I think Lukaku would kind of complete AC Milan. There was a very interesting infographic from Gazzetta showing the predicted lineup for AC Milan next season. They're trying to sign Fofana for Monaco, Lukaku up front alongside Ruben, Leao, Theo Hernandez, Tomori, Reindeers. I mean, wow, that could be a super club. And it just continues this trajectory of Serie A, where it's one of the most entertaining, exciting leagues in Europe because of the level of competition and the balance. And honestly, watch Serie A football. It really is exciting to watch. And we are seeing the infancy of many interesting, creative tactics in that league compared to other leagues. So my friends, that is the latest news today. If there are more reports later tonight, of course, come back on BlueLionsTV where I'll discuss them. And on that note, enjoy your day, enjoy the sun, and I'll see you guys later with some more videos. Cool.